What's up, guys? You're staying young and informed with your host, Alexiz. We're out here in NoHo, for those who don't know, North Hollywood, with DJ iLL.
What's poppin'?
Give it up. So how are you feeling today?
Man, other than blessed, I'm highly favored. A little hot.
It is very hot.
But feeling good. I'm feeling good. I'm excited for the things I have planned. So, feeling good about it.
I like it.
Yeah.
Now, for those who don't know you, and even when I didn't even know who you were, you do so much when you find out what you actually do. You did content creating, you DJ, you did so much creatively. How does that, I don't even know how that holds into your brain like that.
Yeah. It's funny that you say that, because I'm actually still learning myself as I go on in this journey called life. Every day I feel like I learn that I do something new, but also I'm learning I can't keep everything up in my head, because for the longest I've been hella good at that, especially throughout school. It's just I never really had to study for anything like that. Really? It was more so just a get it once, but when it comes to everything that I'm doing now, and from my merge to just making sure I'm at a gig on time and what I have to rent for that gig, or if I have to rent any equipment, or things like that. Now I find myself going to my calendar more often than not, putting every little thing down, every hour, every minute of my day. So yeah, it's just all about preparation, really.
So let's get into that professionalism, because you actually exceed my expectations, especially for our age group. Because when you meet someone of our age group, and especially when they're trying to get to know who they are, trying to do what they do, running late, we're probably gonna cancel the event, things like that. So in the back of our heads, you always know might fall through.
Yeah.
But for you, how did you grow into that professionalism? Has it always been like that for you?
I feel like it's just different experiences in life. My upbringing, my mom and my pop really are strict. So it's whenever I fell short in school and A's, not even a B plus, they would be nah, hold on, rewind, fix it up, and then you could go back to living your regular life. So definitely my upbringing, but also just different experiences. Joining a fraternity. I'm a member of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated. So just joining a fraternity taught me a lot about structure too. I was chapter president for 3 years, and along that term I was also assistant area director. So it was just a lot I had going on, but I had to make sure things were structured, because if I didn't, then, and the smallest thing, sometimes what could seem like the smallest thing, if that falls through the crack, then the whole chapter can sort of just not be where it's supposed to be, and just fall apart. So just different experiences that I learned throughout the way, and it's just I want to be punctual in everything I do. Even going to Fisk, I remember they were to be early is to be on time. Yeah. And I sort of related with that heavy, because I'm I hate when people late to something that, either I'm helping them with, or putting my time to. I hate when I'm late. I hate when other people make me late.
Yeah.
I just hate being late. You feel me? So it's if we on time, if we early, we on time. And also it allows me to prepare. I've had times where I was borderline, cutting it close to a gig, and it's damn, I didn't get a chance to get my set together how I wanted it to, and it still ended up being great, because I'm a great improviser, but just in that moment I couldn't really structure things how I wanted them to be,
Right.
So, yeah.
So what was the very first gig that you had that you can remember? Even if it's DJing, if you were designing someone's cover art, what was the very first thing you got paid for professionally? It's a long time.
I sort of like to talk about both of those experiences, because I do a lot of graphic design, right? But I also DJ often. As much as those coincide and go hand in hand, I sort of like to keep them separate from time to time, because the experience that I had that allowed me to start doing both is, they were different. So my first time DJing and getting paid to do a gig, this is the funniest shit ever, actually. I was producing before I was DJing, actually, right? And I remember in high school, I had bought my mom actually had got me this Machine MK2 after I saw this video when I was a kid. I saw what was his name? A-Rap Music, and he was bumping on the MPC, and I'm okay, these videos are fire, right? So I'm I need an MPC now, and I'm all right, cool. I asked mom, she's yeah, I ain't got the money right now, but she figured it out and got it for me. And then so as I'm making beats in high school, it was cool, but when I got to college, I realized majority of my freshman class was from Cali anyway, and Fisk is in Nashville. So we decided to throw like a California party. Like just
dope.
to get we wanted a sense of home, really, I feel like is what it was. But it was more sort of like put people on to where we were from, you know.
How did people take on that? Because I know that's a completely different vibe.
Yeah. So, and that's funny too. That goes in with my DJing, because even when I would DJ gigs out there, in the beginning I would play like a lot of Cali music, and people at first would be like hesitant, like what are you playing this for? Like, where's Dolph? Where's Gotti? Where's the southern vibe? And eventually I picked up on it, but they also picked up on my vibe. So it was a cool hand-in-hand switch. But the first party I DJ'd, shout out my boy Jamal. He started putting parties together, and he was like, look, bro, I want you to DJ this party. And at the time I didn't have a turntable. Like, I didn't even really think about DJing, but it was right after that Cali party that we had done, that I DJ'd from my computer, like strictly computer. I didn't even have a controller or anything, but the vibe was so fire that he was like, yo, I want you to DJ my next joint. And that's the one I got paid for. And I was like, all right, bet. So I figured out actually how to make my MPC turn into like a controller for DJing. So I used like the pads on the MPC that would normally be used for like beats, drum kits, and shit like that. Right. I used those for cue points on the controller. I changed the mapping for the knobs to be like a crossfader. So that was a dope ass experience, because it was like the first time my DJ got paid, but it also had nothing to do with like turntables or like a controller. It was just strictly MPC. So it was a vibe.
I think that speaks also on like your raw talent, because you have to have raw talent to do what you do. For real.
For sure.
Thanks. So how does it? You do so much that's like all the questions are like everywhere in my head.
Right. Because I'm like, I still can answer the same question that you just asked, but for graphics.
And I almost want to go there, but I want to first. Let's talk about your DJing.
Okay.
So after that, how did you grow into who you are as a DJ? Because you always had music in your blood, but it's like, how did it go from the PC all the way to like what you do now? Because now you're the star of the show. So how did you grow into that?
It was really just, I feel like it was like a natural attraction. It was like, after I did those first couple parties and the vibe was there, really it was about that raw energy that I received being on stage and like playing a gig and seeing the crowd jump and like people going crazy, like sweat everywhere. Like, it was a dope vibe, like hella hot boxes. So it was dope, and it caused me to be like, look, I want to do this more often. So I sort of like stopped producing in its entirety after the first couple of gigs, because I was like, I'm strictly DJing now, like fuck that shit.
I like that.
And I ended up buying a board from one of my frat brothers at the time, little cheap SB2. I think he sold it for like $100. And I was stuck with that for like a few years, and then after like doing more and more gigs and like traveling doing gigs, I was like, okay, I need to step up my equipment, because I realized going like even in clubs, my SB2, I wouldn't be used to the club standard. Like when I would go in clubs and they had CDJs or some type of upgraded controller, I was like, look, I don't even really know how to fuck with this. Like, it got too many effects and buttons for me, so I just didn't really know what to do. So I was like, look, I'm gonna just upgrade my controller, learn it real good, and that way I'm versatile. Anywhere I go, I'm able to play, So that's really how that grew into what it is. And like I said, that natural attraction of energy, because energy's big, especially at events, events like that, live events, parties, and just receiving what you're putting out is amazing. So, yeah.
Because it sounds to me kind of like each time you upgraded, it was almost like more came with it. The more as you upgraded your equipment, as you kind of felt the vibes of it. So I like that. That's really dope. So would you say you believe in like law of attraction, if almost?
Yeah, to a degree. That's actually a good question. I believe for sure that one thing I do believe for sure is that like everything is written. Like everything is, I believe in God, and I believe like whatever you do throughout this life is meant for you to do. And however you think that you're gonna move, it may not always happen that way, but typically it ends up happening exactly how it's supposed to anyway.
That's true.
So I said I believe in that for sure, because like I said, I didn't even know I was gonna be a DJ. I'm like, hey, I'm about to produce, like, I'm about to make beats, and I still might, but at the time, DJing came along, and I was like, oh shit, like let me shift this way.
The right time, right
place.
Exactly. So now we're gonna jump to the content creating, because y'all, when you go to his website, so many clients, so many just graphics, everything. I was actually shocked that you did that as well, because again, when I first like found out who you were, I saw the DJ mainly. Did you see your name? So when I seen that, I was like, what? Like, that was crazy. How did that? What was the beginning of that?
So that actually started before DJing. That was like about 10 years ago. I used to be a heavy gamer. I still game from time to time, Call of Duty and stuff like that in my free time. But when I was a heavy gamer, like my team that I was running with at the time, it was funny because it was like elementary, early middle school. And I really needed a way to get paid. That's what it was. Like I was sitting here taking my mom's. I don't even remember. I can't even hold you.
It's time to get paid.
Yeah, look, I needed bread. Like I just remember like I would do things for money when I was a kid. That's how I know I always had an entrepreneurial spirit. Like I took my mom's EBT card. I would go to Costco, buy candy in bulk, and I would make like Kool-Aid gummy bears at home and stuff like that, and then take them to school and just sell them all the time, like just re-up on profits, you know. So that was dope. Yeah. But anyway, when it came to gaming, it was like I joined a team and we started doing these tournaments, and each tournament paid out a certain amount of money. So I was like, shit, I'm gonna start taking this serious. Like I'm doing it on my free time anyway. I might as well make money from it, you know. So I started doing that, but then my team needed like a face. We needed a logo. We needed like a YouTube banner intro and different things like that. Oh. So I started doing those types of like 4D motion graphics as a kid. Like I would just take templates and just change the text in the template and make it fit our team name. I for sure wouldn't build it from scratch. Like I wasn't doing that shit at the time, but yeah, it was just a cool experience. And then like, you know, when I eventually got to high school, a lot of people threw like parties, house parties. So again, the same thing. And they were like, yo, we need flyers for this, for this.
Oh, that's dope.
So I would take flyer templates and I would just change the name. And that's why all my flyers in the past, like if you ever go to like my first 10 graphics made, hella fucking generic. Like it's hella generic. Like you're probably gonna see that same flyer 50,000 times somewhere else because it's just one that I downloaded. But now it's like, you know, it just grew into, I guess it's just supply and the demand is really what it was. Like, and I didn't even know that it was like a business mindset that I had at the time. Yeah. It was just like, oh, they need this, let me do this. Oh, they need this, you know? So like, I eventually just kept doing that. High school, college, people needed logos. Now, you know, I'm at the age where a lot of my friends are starting businesses and things like that. So they need branding. So now I'm doing, you know, those different types of graphic elements. But yeah, that's where that started at. All from gaming, really.
Did you ever find it hard to create? Because even for me, when I'm trying to like make even as simple as a logo, it's so hard because it's just almost like there's so many images out there that you almost become cluttered. At least for me. Do you ever find like a struggle when you're creating things?
Yeah, and I have a couple different ways around or like get over that struggle. One, of course, is just taking time away. Okay. Like if I'm doing too many graphics in the day, sometimes I'll pump out 10, 11 graphics in a day. But like if I'm doing to the point where I just can't focus on that one because I'm thinking about 3 other ones I gotta do or something like that, I just step away and I'm like, okay, let me just go take a walk or let me go eat, because half the time I won't eat till like 6 p.m. because I'm focused on work, you know. But also I look up things for inspiration. Like I have a few other graphic designers that I follow for inspiration. I have, you know, other pages I follow for inspiration. And then also, if it's like, say for instance, if you were a music artist and you're like, hey, can you make my cover art? A lot of the times I'll just go off the vibe of the song. So I'm like, all right, bet, like send me the track and then I'll vibe out with it. If you don't have anything in mind already, a lot of people, you know, some people, not a lot, but some people come to me and they're like, hey, I have this idea already. I just need you to piece it together. It's like, all right, cool, I can do that. But I like it best when people come to me and they just send me the track. I vibe out with it. I literally play the track 15, 20 times, and I'm just like playing it while I'm making the cover art. So that's really how I get around that, because if you think about it, music and art in general is all about perspective, right? So, you know, I'm listening to a song and you can listen to a song, but we'll have 2 different perspectives. So as I'm listening to a track, I'm listening through all these different words and I'm pulling at my perspective and what I think that the artist meant. So when it comes together, they're like, oh, I see you touched on this element. That's actually what I meant. And then I saw you brought that in. That's different. What is that? And then I explain it to them like, oh, this was my perspective of this, right? And then they fuck with it.
Like, oh yeah,
9 times out of 10. Yeah, exactly. Like that. So, but yeah, that's really how I get around like the struggles of I guess, creative block.
Now you've done a lot of cover art as well. With celebrities, and the list goes on and on. Honestly, who was the first celebrity you worked with?
First celebrity?
Or even artist. Just the first kind of major cover you did for someone.
Damn. You know, that's one thing I really struggle with.
Remember?
Like trying to remember like the first artist or like celebrity I worked with, because my mind works on, okay, I got it, what's next? Okay, I got that, what's next? Okay, I did that, what's next? So I'm always looking at like who I want to work with, and not necessarily who I have. but I do include that on my website because I feel like, number one, it's important for me to know. So that's why I go back on there often. I'm like, okay, I did do that person. Like, I'll forget.
Feel like a calendar.
Yeah, exactly. I'll forget. So, but
if you could work with anyone, who would you work with?
Drake, for sure.
Drake?
Hell yeah.
Interesting.
Drake, for sure.
So what did you think, because the most notable cover art for him was The Views. So what do you think about that type of art?
That was fire.
It was clever.
It was very clever. Just having that, I forget the name of that building in Toronto. I remember I went there one time on a tour show, and that was like a fun ass experience. But I didn't get to go to that building, and that's one of the things I regret. I'm actually gonna have to go back here pretty soon so I can check it out. But just the fact that he, minimize himself and put him on top of that, it's like overlooking his city. Like, there's so many different perspectives you could pull from that. It's like, I'm the gatekeeper, or I'm the motivator, or
the king of the city.
That too, or I'm the hope. It's however you want to look at it. But that cover art was dope.
I like it. I like it.
Yeah.
What was your favorite one that you ever did? One, like, when they're asking, like, oh, what do you do? You're like immediately pulling it up, like, oh, right here.
Often I show the Rain cover I did for Paloma.
Okay.
Paloma Ford, she's an artist, R&B artist. Fire as fuck. If y'all haven't heard her, check her out. But definitely that's one that I feel like I show people the most. Mainly because I love the colors I used in it. It's like this different hues of blue, but like drops of purple. Or like a fuchsia,
like a hypnotic.
Yeah. It's pretty vibey. So that's definitely one of the ones that I show the most. As far as like creativity, I have like other covers I've done that I feel like I've been more creative with, that I've taken probably even more time with, and I'm trying to remember one off the top of my head. Can't even think of one. But I know that I've done like a whole bunch of shit where I'm pulling in different elements and different aspects of things, and then I make this whole new picture. It's like painting a new picture with like a whole bunch of different pictures. Yeah. So, So I definitely do things like that too. But definitely that Rain cover is one that I'll show the most.
I like that.
Yeah.
So you're talking about kind of looking like the present, but also the future as well. So where do you see yourself going next? Because you travel a lot. You've been a lot of places. Where do you see yourself going next? Do you want to stay in LA? Do you want
I'm for sure about to be in LA for some years. And no matter where I move, I'm for sure coming back to LA. Okay. It's just it's a different vibe out here. And I tell people all the time, like, within my first 6 months of moving here, I feel like I progress further in like each of my businesses than I have in anywhere else, like living anywhere else.
Would you say it's because like the fast pace is almost?
Sort of, but I also spent time in New York for a summer. One time, my aunt was she owned the Flatiron Hotel in Manhattan, and I would DJ up there, and I stayed in one of the rooms up there one of the summers. And that's hella fast paced. Manhattan that's honestly like I got inspired by the hustle out there, because it's people on the street painting at 3 a.m. Like they doing whatever they got to do that's artsy or creative to make ends meet, And I met a couple people out there. Phobius 8 was one of them. He had painted my backpack and did all type of like dope ass shit, right? But it's just the hustle is different out there. So I liked it for that, but I don't think LA is as fast paced. I don't at all. I don't see people out here doing that. I mean, maybe in Hollywood, but then
more of a schedule.
Yeah, it's definitely more of a schedule. But I just feel like my networking game has always, I've prided myself on having a good networking game, but being out here, I feel like I've proven it to myself. Like, damn, like I've met some dope ass people and some dope ass creatives. I've been able to work with some dope ass people, just living and being in the same area. And I've never been afraid to talk to anybody, Yeah. Don't be afraid to talk. I don't care if you're here on wherever you see yourself on whatever totem pole you may, conjure up in your mind. I feel like we're all human at the end of the day. And, I'm going to talk to you just like I talk to someone else. And
what I like is that you remain humble through everything you've done. And again, like when I looked at your resume, I was like, damn, like you don't act like your professionalism, yes. But like talking wise, cooling, you're so humble that you don't act like I'm better than this or look what I got. Like I respect that so much.
Thank you. Yeah, that was definitely part of my upbringing. I have a lot of like parental figures in my life, because I got a mom, a dad, I got a stepmom, and then I have someone who is like a stepdad to me.
Yeah.
So I have like a lot of different parental figures, and not even counting my grandparents on both sides. So they definitely taught me, you know, humble is key.
That's dope.
Yeah.
Dope. Now, let's just go back to the future for you as well.
Okay. Oh yeah, you did say that. 10 years, right?
Yeah.
I
So
missed
where
that
do
whole
you see?
question.
That's good. Where do you see yourself going?
Yeah. So graphic wise, I definitely want to have my own graphic agency.
That's dope.
And I want to have it to where, because oftentimes I find like sometimes you have to do work that you don't really want to do because you want to get where you want to go.
Yeah.
But I want to get to the point where I'm like turning down work I don't want to do, or I could pass it to someone on my team or my agency and they can handle that while I just focus on the artist and the cover art. Like right now, sometimes, you know, I'm doing like brand books and pitch decks, and I design, you know, even sometimes websites are tedious for me. And I'm like, I don't really want to do this at the time. Yeah. It's not like, even in my field, it could be about something like totally different industry, you know? And I'm doing it right now because it's like, why not? But I want to get to the point where I have an agency that's like just knocking out work as it comes in. I'm improving and denying certain things. And I just work with the artists who I want to work with, you know? Shout out to Kenny Graveless. I had met him one day in a random ass parking lot. I saw he had like a Porsche or some fire ass car, and I remember walking up to him like, "Hey, bro, you know, I don't know exactly what you do, but I see you a young black man, and you know, I see your car, and I just want to ask, like, what do you do? Like, let me know." He's like, "Oh, okay, I have my own graphic agency, this and that," and I gave him my card, and I didn't hear back from him until like a year later, and I was like, you know, random ass call, and he was like, "Yeah, I don't know if you remember me." He was like, "I remember you gave me your card in a parking lot one day, but right now we're doing some things in the graphic industry, and we're sort of looking for like who's next. Like there aren't a lot of black people. Yeah, there aren't a lot of black people in the graphic industry, especially film, which is what he focuses on now. You know, mainly doing like graphic artwork for Netflix films and things like that. But what caught my eyes, he did the Ready to Die Biggie cover, and I was like, okay, that's like he did that. What? He did a lot of covers for Common, like so that, you know, music of course caught my eye. Sheesh. But he was like, yeah, anyway, he was like, yeah, you know, I want you to come to my office downtown, or I don't think it's downtown. I forgot what it was. Yeah. But he's like, I want you to come to my office and, you know, just come check it out and we can chop it up, things like that. I can pick your brain. So funny thing is I get there and I'm like, I walk in, number one, I had to be buzzed in. So I like that. Coming from the hood, I'm like, shit, I had to be buzzed in here? Like, okay, and then I go up to the top, and when I'm on the floor, I walk in, I see all of these people behind a computer working on all these different graphics. And I'm like, yeah, what? Not even that, well, yeah, under him, but also for different things, like for film, for music, for whatever, you know, client he had at the time. And I was like, damn, like just the fact to see that he's able to work on all these different things because of, you know, his manpower. It was dope. So that was definitely an inspiration. I remember him asking me like, you know, where did you learn graphics? And I was telling him like, I'm self-taught. He was like, what? Like you're self-taught? Like you didn't go to school for this? And I'm like, nah, went to school for business, music business, concentration. But you know, I just always been interested I've always had a techie side to me. Right. And then for DJing, just to go back to your question, I definitely see myself here within the next couple of years going on a tour. I haven't been on a tour yet. I want to hit a few different countries, throw a few water bottles into the crowd, you know, get hype, get lit. You can even throw your merch too. I love that you're wearing it. You know what's funny? I stay rocking Trophy Year. Make sure y'all check it out, trophyyear.com. But it's funny that you say that because anytime I would have a gig, and I just came out with another collection, like when I would do homecomings back in Nashville, I would bring all my merch with me in a separate suitcase. Smart. And throughout the gigs, I would just toss them out to the crowd. Like it was just, it's fun as shit just to do shit like that. You know, product placement and different things like that. I've always been good at that too. So I know that's something we haven't really talked about, but yes, I do have merch. Yeah. How did that begin? Because I saw that it's been about 3 collections now. Yeah. How did that start? I know you're back in like college days. Yeah. So that started definitely around the time I crossed. Sometime around my sophomore year, I was in a room with my line brothers, and we were talking about just different ways to be successful, and how we feel like some of our peers want the success, but they like say they don't want to put the work in at the moment, or they say they do it later, or they say, you know, all these different things that I deemed as excuses. Yeah. It's like, for what? You say you want to do this and that, just do it, you know? So yeah, it was just a conversation that I had with them that led me to Trophy Year, and I was like, you know, that's gonna be the slogan, like make money, not excuses.
What was the ideology after the main trophy year?
Oh, it's all about attaining your trophies. It's just all about, you know, going out and doing what you say you want to do, doing it as early as possible, because, you know, just we all live life to a certain extent, but we don't know when we're gonna be going, you know, and move on to the next or whatever your belief is. But yeah, it's all about just attaining your trophies while you're here and getting them in a timely manner. And even though sometimes you may fall short of whatever timeline that you set for yourself, I've set a few for myself that I fell short of, but it's more so about just working towards it anyways. It's sort of like the saying, what is it? Shoot for the stars. If you don't land where it is, you'll land on the planet or some shit, you know? Some shit, but basically your progress is further, you know, than what it would have been if you didn't move. So, yeah, that's the whole, like, method behind trophy year. I just want everyone to realize, like, no matter who you are in life and no matter where you are in life, you always have a trophy that you can go after.
What is the inspiration behind each collection?
So it's funny that you say that. I don't really have any. I sort of just release. Yeah, like it sort of just like pops up when I want to, cause often I'll find myself like not even working on trophy or shit. It's like more so DJing or graphics. That's another thing I struggle with. Doing so many things, like I have to put things to the side.
I was gonna ask you that too. Yeah. Don't worry, we will get there.
Yeah, so like I remember I didn't work on trophy year for like a year, and this collection 3 is like my comeback after a year. So the fact that I sold out of my hats yesterday, I'm actually hella surprised.
And they were dope because even I was looking and like when I finally saw the link up, I was like, oh shit. Excuse me, y'all. Yeah. I said, oh shit, and I looked, I was like, and then I saw you put on your story too. It was like sold out. I was like, dang. It's dope, and you're smart for doing phone cases. That was smart.
Yeah, I got some other things coming out for this collection too that I feel like is gonna be game changers. But I'm gonna have to wait for that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so you know, behind each collection, it's sort of just, I would say, partly where I'm at in life, but like because for collection 2, I wanted to keep things simple.
Yeah.
So it was just like 3 different colorways, very simplistic, 4 words, make money, not excuses, upside down. Like it wasn't very artsy like you see with my 3rd collection, but with my 3rd one, I felt like, you know, I was around that vibe more so. You know, I'm working with different artists, I'm learning different things on the creative side of myself that I'm able to like just expound on. So, I guess those are the inspirational points. But as far as like when to drop, I don't really have inspo behind that. It's just like I wake up one day like, fuck it, I'm gonna drop collection 4. You know?
Just like, boom.
Yeah.
That's dope though. And I think too, with not putting time on it, it also it shows like just more love behind, like, you know what, I'm not feeling it right now. Yeah. And kind of like what you said, you woke up like, today is the day.
Yeah,
it's like that moneymaker day.
Exactly.
I like that.
Exactly, that's a fact.
All right, guys, you heard it here first. I'm Alexiz.
I'm DJ iLL.
Make sure to stay young and informed with us, and make sure to buy his merch, tune into him, and book him. We'll drop all links below on how to contact him.
You did.